All right. Tell me your stuff.
She's very patient.
Awesome, thank you.
Who am I doing now?
Meeting Trovvit.
I'm trying to get rid of my
Coffee guy.
coffee guy. Hi, I'm Will.
Hey, well, Torrance Robinson.
Torrance, nice to meet you.
I'm with
Laura
Trovvit.
Watts.
Laura, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
That's me.
Thanks.
So we have a tight amount of time.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I know a lot of people you know because I was at EDTECH for years.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Jonathan Luyen,
Okay,
some of
fantastic.
the group
Yeah,
over there,
great,
and
fantastic.
John Katzman. So
Sure.
you're on Noodle Rooms, or you're on
I'm
the
on
board?
Noodle Markets Board, yeah.
Noodle Markets Board.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I will jump in real quick. Trovvit solves the problem that the traditional high school transcript's not enough anymore. It's a piece of paper. Colleges now want to know your story, they want proof of your work, and increasingly they want to see a portfolio of what you're doing. What we do is we help the 35,000 high schools across the United States set up a system so that when you're a freshman, you come in and you start building your own trove of records and accomplishments and even failures, as well as allowing the school or camps or after-school activities to contribute to that trove. So that by the time you're ready to apply to college, you have a whole trove,
Great
and then you
digital
can create a
trove.
public-facing profile. John and I have spoken in the past because once we start getting all that information, we're able to start thinking about delivering opportunities to those people based on their passions and interests, thus Noodle Markets for the consumer. So that's why we're excited to talk to you.
What's your view about Parthenon, because they're already in this space? And,
Parchment or?
Parchment, I'm sorry.
Parchment.
I
Yeah,
meant
Parchment, okay.
Yeah,
So I was like,
That's
I know
okay, there's
Parchment.
Parchment Portfolio, like
No,
they have
no,
there are all
I'm
these
sorry.
key
I
places.
meant Matt Patitsky's company.
Yeah, so
Parchment, I'm sorry.
Matt's great, and I think he's taking on the harder challenge, which is the actual transcript aspect of that, and the sharing of those transcripts. We're focused much more on the proof of work and the extracurriculars as well, so which is becoming increasingly important. So when I'm looking at you and who you
But
are,
isn't he trying to sort of augment the traditional transcript, so it's not just...
the transcript.
Yeah, so it's not just the regular old transcript, it's more the kind of thing that you're talking about. I could be mistaken, but I thought that's what he was trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his plan is longer term, but he's still very focused on the school to college, and we're focused on the actual user owning the record and having it from the school, the after school, the camp, the online school, the summer school, all in one place, so that they can then be found and find opportunities. And his problem he's solving, I believe, is I'm at high school or went to 2 high schools, and now the colleges want to see my transcripts and be able to transfer that easily instead of the traditional way they're doing it.
And one thing, so when we talk about records, it's actually a term of art for us. Trovvit has a sort of a way that you create your own record. So if you've climbed a mountain or built something in a maker space or played in a concert, you can create a record of that experience with, using video or photographs or documents in the moment. It's like a tiny mini blog. It takes you a couple of minutes. Write a couple of things of reflection, and then you save that to your trove. Your high school can also contribute actual records to your trove, and your summer travel experience can contribute records as well. So you end up with both things that you've created and things that have been created by others, but they're all in the same form. And then those can be rolled up into a public-facing portfolio.
And they can be verified by,
Right.
if a school shares a record and I show it to you and it's me playing basketball, you can actually, as the coach, see that this coach said Torrance did this, not me uploading and saying, look what I did.
Yeah. So what's the business model?
The business model is a freemium both for the user and the school or the institution. If you're an accredited school, we try and give you our premium or level 1 premium for free because I've sold to schools and they take a long time.
Right.
And for the user themselves, we give them amount of space, and if they want additional space or features, HD video, things like that, additional portfolios, we charge for that, and it's an annual fee.
So it's a freemium model with the upsell being to the students who pay more for more hosting and more features.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay.
And an upsell for the institution, for the school that might want a program that will be custom to their students to remind them, hey, you haven't had enough, add some more records.
Sort of alerts and sort of
That's right.
hand-holding.
That's right.
to
Hand-holding
say,
through the
So
process.
if the guidance
So it's
counselor
like guidance
says,
counselor.
Exactly.
I would like
Exactly.
somebody to add 3 records a month during their junior year, 2 during their sophomore, and 1 during their freshman year. That's how they like to see it. Then we can sell them on that.
And what's involved in, you want to show it to me?
Yeah, I think it would be
kind of fun to
helpful.
see.
Yeah.
And while she brings it up, the piece that I think is equally important is that it's social, so that when I create a record, or a record has been shared with me, I can share it on a micro network with a mentor, a teacher, a family member, the people sort of who are my core group following me through my learning process and can help. And they can give me feedback on that, sort of validate it, things like that. And that's been very interesting to schools, especially at the lower socioeconomic, where they're trying to attach mentors and a support group to students.
And because it's on your phone and mobile, you can do it anywhere. So this is what creating a record looks like. It's very simple. A title, a description, different kinds of artifacts you can
Type of
upload.
artifact, yeah.
And then you create a collection, like a folder, but we give you guidance about where you save it to. So into academics, art, music, and then you can keep it private, or you can share that record with a micro network or with specific people. A record,
Or open it up to the public.
or
right?
open, well, not the record.
Not the record.
Your portfolio you can open up, and that's often a series of records, and your profile. So, for example, here's a profile. So she has a little bit about herself, what her current interests are, what she'd like to learn more about, where she goes to school, and she can make that profile public or private. Then she also has portfolios that are based on her work, and she can make these public or private. And then within the portfolios, she can have text, what she's written about. And these maybe take seconds to create because she has all the records and she just drags and drops them in different ways. And then when she's created a record and it's tagged with the category, academics, art, health, passion, they go into her Trove, and then within the Trove she can see, what have I put in there? What are the different records that I've saved within that? So
And
it's
share those individual records or put
And
them
records are
like a post.
Like a post.
Yeah.
And what about like academic records and those kinds of things?
You can
Or
save those too.
certifications.
Yeah, so we talked to some schools and they say we send their report cards via email. I was like, excellent, you could do it on this and it would be verified that I could show it to you. We've been talking to some of the SIS companies about if, could I extract my scores into this? That's where we start overlapping a little with Parchment, and we're not spending a lot of time on that right now, but it does become a question. Parents are already uploading their report cards in there. So they're not verified, they're just like, here's my report card,
So I don't
and I
lose
have
it.
it, and the student has it over time.
And what, if I'm looking at a portfolio record, is there any kind of summary I get? What kind of search diagnostics, analytics do you have?
So-
or is it now I go to torrents and I look it up and I just sort of scroll through things? I mean, is there
It's a-
any,
no, it's a good
is
question.
there any kind of summary that sort of highlights, key skills, or is it,
That's right.
I'm looking
Right.
for a, this kind of
critical
person.
thinker.
That's right.
Or I'm
Yeah,
looking
or
for
just an
a-
experience that you can,
That's right.
and it comes up, or is it all just it's each individual person?
No, so right now, there are two audiences I think you're talking about. One is I'm the school and I want to find certain types of learners within my school who are students, right? Being able to pull upon their public profile of stuff they've done elsewhere, or the records that we at the school have created about, say, Laurel, and I can get a sense of that. One of the things that we are designing and still in the research phase is that when I create a record, we have this sort of leftover like button, which was always just a holder. And what we want to do is have that be soft skills. So if I share a record of something I've done with my network or my mentor, they can rate it as, shows compassion, shows leadership. What does this one thing I did show about me in a soft skill and allow me to roll that up. All right, so that's sort of from myself and my institution. The flip side is if the student wants and says, yeah, let me be found for opportunities a la LinkedIn, using either my data, but not sharing that, and making my public profile available of, I'd like to learn more about this, or I spent 8 years in robotics, we can then start matching up other opportunities for them to say, you might be interested in this opportunity, you might want to find this. So you're talking about...
Yep.
Okay, and how do you match up, what's your database for matching them up for opportunities?
We don't have one yet. I mean, that's what we're building. We are working with high schools first to figure out what their needs are and what kind of opportunities they want to be matched up with.
So in a way, is the problem, the number one problem you're trying to solve for high schools to help students build up the right kind of experiences and portfolio? Is that the number one problem, or is it,
Yes.
no, we just need a simple way for students to record what they're doing?
Well, the immediate pain point that they've helped us kind of articulate and focus on here is the moment when you're applying to college, and you either need to give a college a portfolio because a college requests it, requires it, or there's a space on the Common App and you need one.
Right.
Or you're trying to write an essay and you need to, they say, what is your particular talent or skill, and you have that moment of deep panic
Right.
that you don't have a special talent or skill, and your guidance counselor can say, let's sit down with your Trove, because I'm pretty sure you've organized something in there that's really special that we can tell a story about.
Well, the first one, really, I get. I mean,
Right.
and I think it's like those 90 Ivy League schools and others that try, you know.
That's right, they're doing that now.
They're doing that, and some people say that's unfair because it's going to, again, favor the wealthy.
Favor the wealthy.
Which is why we made something that you can put in your pocket.
Well, so what you're saying is this is a really efficient, simple way to do that.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And that's the real pain point from almost a commercial point of view.
Correct.
This is why you should pay money for this.
Yes.
That's right.
And it's
Because
why you
it'll
have
help
an
you get
immediate
it'll
need.
help you get into college,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it'll help you also guide yourself through high school so that you're having meaningful experiences.
Correct.
Right, and from the school standpoint, we want to engage you in 9th grade, if not earlier. But if
Yeah.
you're a high school, our goal is to get you college ready or into college, and this is going to be a useful tool. I'm the guidance counselor, I get you senior year, I need help. I will pay for a program like
Got
this.
it. So, in general, what's your business model of what you charge a student for the premium, and how many students you think you need to, you can get realistically?
It's a good question. So we just launched the app this June, right? And we've got some people testing it. Through the accelerator, we're now focused on a very specific cause, which is the high schoolers. I would say you need about 28,000 paying to make $1 million in revenue. We charge about $3 a month. That's assuming only the parent or the student paying.
Right.
The other
And then
models
on
to
the
work with
school
school
side,
side. The idea is, again, for the basic system, we're going to make that free with more space. But if you want the guidance counselor
The guidance counseling
app,
aspects,
right?
it's
That's a
some
plug-in,
X-charge
and
per
it's
student,
another.
right.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
it's too early to know what that number
We're
is.
doing that research now with the wealthier prep schools, right? That cost a lot of money, and the college track public schools that are serving lower economic community, socioeconomic community. So
That have grant funding for college readiness. And so when we've talked to them, they say, we have no problem paying for this.
So you're basically going for the wealthy communities or the communities that have Title I or things like that. Okay.
well, we're going for all, just to be
Well,
clear.
that makes
but
sense. A
our-
segment, at least start. you know.
Well, we wanted to be able to answer, like, to your point about the 1%ers, they're going to do this, they're going to have the money. If this is going to help, they'll do it, right? That's a smaller market. So if we're really going after the whole market, prove that it also helps the other students and that there's a revenue model there.
Although there
Right,
is an
and we have a-
argument
we have
that
a mission.
getting into the private school wealthy community market first helps you fund some things. It shows proof of purchase.
Aspiration.
It's
And
much
it's an
easier. It's
aspirational
much
tool.
easier to target it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, K-12 is the beauty of it's big, and the beauty and the horror
Terrible
of
it's
it's
big.
It's so true. It's so true.
Quickly,
Yep.
give me your backgrounds, and secondly, what's your greatest need right now? How could I potentially help you?
When you start.
Okay, I'm a former corporate litigator at Cleary Gottlieb, and I stopped doing that and have spent the last 13 years at home, working with my kids and helping them follow their particular passions and pathways. And my thing that I bring is I care a lot about things being easy to use and beautiful to use.
And you're a user,
And I'm a user.
And how old are your kids now?
They are 13, 11.
Okay.
6th and 9th grade. So it is very real for us.
Okay.
My background is I was at Bloomberg helping with their internet strategy early on, and then I left
Their
them.
what strategy?
Their internet. So
Oh,
back
internet,
in the
okay.
mid-90s. I left them in '99 to start eChalk, which was the sort of leading LMS, CMS in K-12.
Right, yeah.
Did that for 16 years, and actually Trovvit came out of that, which was schools had been asking for this for years. We did research with them. We researched the parent, and the key differentiator that I think the other systems failed was that if you want personalized learning or you want this to work, given where the market's going, the learner has to own their record. However, for the learner to own the record, you have to also incentivize the institution, whether that's a school or camp or after-school program, to also want to use this platform.
Yeah, or else it's not complete. Yeah.
That's right. So that's what we've done.
Got it. And what's your biggest need?
Go.
You know, you go.
So we got lots. No, I think our biggest need immediately is we are trying to validate that with guidance counselors that this is something that they both need, it fits their need, and is something they will pay for.
Right.
I met with a school yesterday that is a K-8 school, not our focus, but was set up a while back. And she got excited because their transition is 7th, 8th grader going to high school. And she's like, we need this. Our high schools, because they go to competitive high schools, are asking for this. Who is this kid? How does it work? What have they done? So that was very satisfying to me, and we will work with them. But our immediate need is, here are, I think, the schools, the associations, the people you should be in front of,
Right.
if that's your market focus.
Okay. Well, I might be. I'm on the board. I'm on is just joined it is a company called Final Sight.
Oh, I know Final Sight.
Yeah. And they're very strong in the private school space.
Yeah.
Great.
And they're now really starting to grow in the public. And they have a number of businesses, but the core one is basically websites that help recruit students.
Sure.
And also provide for engagement once a student is in with parents and teachers and all that. And a nice company that's growing well. They know the private school market incredibly well.
Yeah.
Great.
And I could ask them, if this sort of resonates with them, if they think there's, a potential market for it. If you want me to, I could.
Yeah, let me follow up with you. I
Yeah.
also got an introduction to them because they're in Boston. Are the founders in Boston?
They're actually in Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Maybe I'm thinking Whipple Hill. There were two
Whipple
of them.
Hill.
that were the
Whipple Hill
competitors.
is a competitor.
Did Final Sight? Who got bought by the private equity? One got
Final Sight just got bought.
I think it was them.
by Bridge.
Bridge.
Yeah. And actually, Jonathan and I are both on the board.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, let me talk to Jonathan and talk
Yeah,
to you, and I
yeah,
think that would
yeah.
make sense
Yeah.
because it is something those schools need.
Yeah.
I think what we want to do is validate the message first, and
Yeah.
then talk to you about
Yeah.
them and say, okay, this is a no-brainer plug into what Final Sight is
And
doing.
I think the other way potentially I could help you is I'm also on the board of Ruffalo No Levitz, which is the leading company that works with universities to recruit students, decide what financial aid to offer, alumni engagement, and also some degree of retention services, and we're building off on that.
Great.
And they have a tremendous knowledge about what university admissions people are looking for,
Yep.
how to simplify things, how to identify, because I know it's not part of your business model right now, but it probably will be.
Well, what happens is they graduate and they go to college and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
bring it with them.
Yeah.
And we talked to someone who's involved with the Washington community colleges, and the
Okay.
retention is a big thing. And they're
Huge
like,
thing.
how could you use this for retention? Great.
Okay,
We'll
thank you.
definitely
Nice
follow
to
up.
meet
Thank you so
you.
much,
Okay.
Will. Really appreciate
Really
it.
pleasure.
Great to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Terrific.
Great to meet you.
All right. That's your, do you want to take your coffee cup?
Yes, please.
Mind setting up for Skype call right now? Skype call.
So now we're moving on. Next shot is, Dr. Computer.
Okay.
Let's cut.